I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox, broadcasting live. We in the Zoom stratosphere these weeks as we deal with the coronavirus epidemic. It's got New York City and many other places on shutdown. So I'm sitting in my restaurant, Della, in Brooklyn. It's quiet. There's nobody here. Can't have customers. We're closed during the day anyways, but my guest today is also part of the food industry here in New York City. I'll introduce him in just a moment. Andrew, are you with us? Do I have Andrew?
Yes, I am. Here I am. Mic check.
There he is. Yo, man, we got the same shirt.
Nice shirt. I like it. I was trying to find mine today, and I can only do the wallpaper, but you're rocking the real deal.
That's beautiful. I got the real deal. The sauce balls. The sauce balls is in the house. So this man makes his own sauce, and it really got my wheels turning this week, and I couldn't stop thinking of A Bronx Tale.
Nice.
Have you been hit up with that much lately, where the scene where Colonial is like, he kisses the girl and he's like, you know how to make sauce, right? And she's like, huh? And he's like, sauce for macaroni. And she's like, shut up, and like kisses him again. So I just had the Bronx Tale on my mind lately. It's such a profound movie, and the message of the week is coming from A Bronx Tale. It just made me think of you. And it was the scene where his dad said, the saddest thing in life is wasted talent. And I thought of you because you're a very talented guy. You're a man of many talents, and you're wasting no time right now. There's lots of people on shutdown who are forced to cease operations, and there are a lot of people who just decided, man, this is fucking hard, and they're going to give it up. But not you.
Yeah,
not you, my friend.
Not an option. Not an option.
So my guest today, I'm on the middle of a mispronounce your last name. Suzuka, is that it?
Yeah, you nailed it.
All right, Andrew Suzuka, the sauce boss of Otamot Foods. He's also are you still the CFO of the
Bayard Advertising? Yeah.
This
largest recruitment marketing agency in the United States. So we actually do all the recruiting for companies like Walmart, and Cisco, and I mean, there's just the list goes down the line. Whole Foods, things like that. What's interesting, I never actually used that connection with the sauce. So it was always like the Bayard is the 9 to 5, and the sauce is the 5 to 9, except for this 1 hour today, and then I'll get back to it.
Right. So you're the CEO of Otamot, correct?
Yep.
And the CFO. What's the name of the media company again?
Bayard, Bayard.
Bayard Media. Nice. Yeah. That's awesome, man. So how are things?
Things are good. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, right? It's
crazy. Definitely
it's crazy out there. But listen, I can't complain. I mean, it's we're doing what we wanted to do, right? And we're feeding people, and we're I'm just having fun. I'm having fun. I know it sucks out there. I have 2 kids. We're stuck in our house. I can't leave. I'm, giving my sister, my parents a hard time. Don't leave, whatever. Yeah. But in the same time, like, things are cool. Like this week, we launched in Fresh Time, and that's 75 stores in a bunch of states, and then Rouse's down in Louisiana, 63 stores. We're about to launch with Whole Foods. QVC literally just asked me for another, a huge order for April, 80,000 jars. It's good. It's good. We're getting a lot of love out there, and then just doing what I set out to do, step by step. And I think it's just, it's a fun time. It's a fun time right now. And I'm learning, and I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing, just to be honest.
None of us do, especially right now. I mean, the great part about right now is like the veil is lifted from everybody. I interviewed Sylvie from Le Paddock a couple weeks ago. We were just talking about that, how like, in restaurants where you often have to put the game face on, and you have to show up, and like, no matter what's going on in your world, you just have to smile. And right now, everybody gets to be very honest and just be like, yo, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm winging it, but that's what I've been doing all along. So it got me this far.
Just try to be a good person, right? Just try to be a good,
absolutely.
Like the other day, and other people, and when you're a good human, other people are too. One of my, I consider him a friend now in China, who I've known for 10, 15 years. And we won't, if we want to make promotional balloons or whatever, I reach out, to Albert, and he reaches out to me and he said, hey, Andrew, I hear what's going on there. Could you use some masks? I'm like, sure. I'm not leaving my house, but, send them over. And I was like, I'll pay you. He's like, no, don't worry. This is just for me. And then I thought, well, what could I do? So then I put on LinkedIn, like, hey, does anyone need any masks? And I just started making little envelopes with like 4 in each and just grab some stamps, and just people would ping me with instant messages like, oh, my dad's here, that's there, like, so you just try to be a good human. It just, and then when it comes to work too. So, I mean, we donated stuff to City Harvest, and I didn't even socialize. I didn't think that my PR companies give me a hard time. Like, why did you tell us? We could have done this whole press release. I don't know, because I just thought it would be the quick, good thing to do, just take a pallet of sauce, here you go. And it, and karma will come around, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to bust my ass. I mean, that's what we have to do. You know that just as well as me, right? You're in New York City, on a hustle. So, and it, and we're just getting a chance to do what I love. I mean, I love both jobs, honestly. I love the fact that we help people find jobs at Bayard Advertising. Mm-hmm. We just put a website up again called Hiring Again. And Hiring Again is a completely free site for people to go and put their jobs, their resumes online, and for people looking to hire, because there's a lot of companies still hiring, to go get resumes totally for free, right? So we did that. Meanwhile, Indeed is going to charge people, and all these other, all their job boards, Career Builder, charge job, people are looking to hire access. We're just like, you know what? We're in the space. We're big in the space. Just put it out there. So, being able to do cool things like that, and also being able to feed people, really great, nutritious, no junk food, without any crap in it, that I'm like psyched to, like, I put this on the table, or I come downstairs from working upstairs now when I was working in the city, right? And I see like my daughter Evelyn eating it, and I'm just like, fuck yeah. That's like all that matters. And I swear to God, when I tell people, like, the only thing that really mattered was that I was able to make one jar and get my daughter to love it. Everything else is just gravy. So can I complain about that? No. Like, even if I shut down tomorrow, I got a good backstock. Like, she's good for a couple of years.
So tell everybody how this got started.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, and I'll add a little bit of color to it, which is that
please.
So I have a 9-year-old. She was 5, 6 at the time, Evelyn, and she just, kids, they get pickier and pickier. I'm like, you used to eat avocado when you couldn't talk, but now you're not eating avocado. What did I do wrong, So all of a sudden, I was just getting like really, frustrated and just not feeling like a good dad, just like, I can't get my kid to eat like sweet potatoes or whatever it is, anything, anything that's not white, she wouldn't have.
Right.
But she likes pizza. I'm like, all right. I was like, Evelyn, like, hang out. I'm going to make the pizza sauce tonight. So, I'd make some.
You go in the other room while I make the sauce.
Hop on the iPad, feel bad, but, we'll get off that in like 10 minutes. And I start grabbing, I'm like, all right, let's make the sauce, but let's grab whatever is reddish. Reddish is the key word, right? So I'm like, all right, let's grab some carrots, reddish. Let's grab some peppers. Let's steam those suckers down, right? So it's not taking me forever. Throw it in the steamer. And then let me just hit it with the blender, little bit of garlic, not over. And then I look at it, and the shit's pink. All right. The sauce is pink. And I'm like, damn it. I'm like, she's hungry. She's going to turn cranky in a minute. And I'm like, I got an idea. I'm going to turn the lights down. We're going to make this into a fun, like, nighttime thing, So I'm like, all right, I got this. So I turn it down. Evelyn, pull up the chair, because she was still kind of short. And, when I have the dough, and she's making the pizza, she doesn't realize it's pink. We put a little extra cheese so she doesn't see the color.
Yeah.
Pop it in the oven, turn the lights on. Oh, let's eat. And she eats it, and she's like, I want more. And I was like, you want more? I want more. I want more. I was like, oh shit. I mean, this is pretty cool. And then a little light bulb comes off, right? And I'm like, wait a minute. If you liked it, and this was not even thinking to make it into anything except one meal, one night for my one daughter, right? So she loved it. And then this light bulb, because I'm in marketing for 20 years, right? Selling, shampoo for Unilever, selling chips for Intel, all the BS stuff, like selling stuff that doesn't matter, right? But maybe it mattered because it helped me really make use of it and all that experience. So then saying, you know what? Why don't I wrap this into a jar and go to a farmer's market? And I had a little proof in that I have 4 younger sisters. One of them, she's a chef, Kim, at not a chef, well, she's a great chef, but she also works at Per Se in the city. Really nice restaurant here on hold right now.
Yeah, and I love it. Yeah.
So I call up Kim. I'm like, hey, can you help me with this? Can you just I got this recipe, here it is, whatever. And I was like, throw it away, because you can crush this way more than me. And that was and she had been selling cookies at some of these markets. And I was like, well, if Kim can do it as of her 5 to 9 or weekend job, I can do it too. Mm-hmm. And so that's how it initially started. But I actually never did the farmer market thing. I actually said, you know what? Let's just actually try to put this right in the store, right? Because the weekends for the family and hanging out with the kids and everything. So I ended up deciding from that moment, hey, let's go for it. Talked to a few people, did a little friends and family raise. Didn't know how the hell to put what I was making in the kitchen into a jar like this, or how all that even, no clue. So to be really honest with you, that was the inspiration. That was a spark, right? That was a light bulb moment. The floodlight moment, really came when I realized this was possible and the need in the market, right? To have something that was really nutritious and delicious. And you look at the sameness, you look at all the stuff that's on the shelf, at least in the tomato category, it's someone's famous face. And then it's someone else's famous face. And you realize they're all made at the same factory, the same way, in a huge vat, and they're just cooking the hell out of it. And I'm like, no, this is dead food. And why are we eating dead food, right? So what can I do that's different? We probably got, and so I set out on a mission, probably got 49 no's from factories saying, your recipe's too complicated, you have too many ingredients. And I was just like, fuck. And then you start feeling bad, right? You start I took my friend's money, we took, friends and family invested in it. And it was like $38,000 to start, but still you feel bad, right? And I was like, and then you get this guilt trip of and also the don't die mentality in me, don't give up, which is that's just ingrained in you or not from being a kid, right? Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to fucking give up. No way. And so it was really, that, I guess, the tenacity and just the not wanting to lose, not relenting, which you go to bed at night sometimes, after that 39th no, you're like, what am I doing? Just focus on the main career, get there, whatever, you tried, that kind of crap, but really when I finally got that yes, and I finally got this factory, and they were based in Wisconsin, our first co-packer, and they said, Andrew, you know what? We do a couple of these a year. If you're willing to wait a couple of months, we'll take you on. And I said, if you promise me you're going to take me on, I'll wait. No problem. Let's go. And I remember I remember exactly where I was in the parking lot in Queens, was doing some shopping, and having that phone call with Andy, the owner, saying, if you're taking me on, I'll hang. I'm cool. And that was really the start of it. It was that. And then the other part that was really inspiring was the branding, was because you have an idea, right? And at first this was called Super Sauce. And I was like, what am I making? I'm making Super Sauce.
Super Sauce.
Yeah. And my lawyers were like, you're not going to be able to trademark that. I was like, oh. Yeah. And so, but when I first saw this and being, we did a whole bunch of back and forth with some friends in the agency, right. The agency world. And we finally came up with a stripe design. And when I saw that, I was like, that's it. Those little things, those other inspirations, because I can motivate myself. I can kick myself in the butt, right? But it's all these other sparks of really excitement that other people, that you feed off of other people. Once you get that, you get the factory that says yes. You get this design that happens. You get this tagline that happens. You get that. You get a phone call. You get someone. You get Joey from up the street saying, we're going to put you on the shelf. And it's like, whoa, things just start happening. Right? Yesterday we got an email 2 days ago from Kroger's saying, hey, start getting your stuff loaded in. And I was like, whoa, all right, there we go. So it's it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And you just have to try to make sure that you're prioritizing the right way. And now it's just a challenge of making sure that we are prioritizing, we're focused on where it matters the most. And never, and don't cut corners. We'll never cut a corner with our product. It has to taste great. It has to be the same. It is expensive for us to make it, but that's what it is. There's no citric acid because I don't want the word acid on my food. So we put lemon juice if we have to make it more acidic, organic, lemon juice. And, does that cost a few more pennies? Yes. But does it matter to me? No, because I don't want to eat acid. I don't know if you guys ever tasted citric acid. It tastes like ass. Okay. So before you put something in your food, make sure you actually taste that raw ingredient to make sure it's something that you want to have. So yeah, that was a long way of telling you kind of how it all sparked and kind of where we got and some of those inspirations. Sorry.
That's great. We're going to take a little short break. Andrew will be back in just a few. Okay.
Cool. Yep.
All right, everyone. You're listening to the Entrepreneur Web.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
All right, everybody, welcome back once again. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox, here with my guest, Andrew Suzuka, CEO of Otamot Foods. He makes his own sauce. All this talk of food is making me hungry, man. It's lunchtime. So you said some really great stuff in the first segment, one of which I want to highlight a little bit, which really drives to the core of the entrepreneurial mindset, was you were like, there's this need. And it started from your own personal experience with your daughter. And I think somehow my daughter got looped into it because she was in
Yes, she did.
One of the commercials. You recognize a big need among parents, especially where we're at. That everybody's this issue that I've got 3 daughters. The first of which she's almost 13. She'll eat anything. She eats anything and everything and has never been that picky. My 2-year-old, she still will eat anything, but I got this one who's just like the same, man. It's got to be like, got to be white. She's like bread, macaroni,
right?
I'm like, yo, we need some color in this diet. And so that you saw this big need and you worked on a solution for it, which is really the heart and soul of what entrepreneurship is. Whatever, I hear all kinds of different definitions and what people think it is, but I think that is a non-negotiable factor in being an entrepreneur. Like once you recognize that and you start attacking that, you get the T-shirt, you get the badge, and I think there were a couple other things you said I want to loop in throughout the course of the show, but another one is part of it is like I feel like that's happening right now in a big way. You mentioned the need for food, the need for distribution. So you're starting to work like the QVC order is crazy. Like everybody's ordering online now. People are like they want good food. They realize like, oh my God, if I want to stay healthy, I need to put healthy things into my body. Making adjustments like that. We've had to do major things. All of my operations are completely different than they were 3 weeks ago. Completely. And most of them are making more money. So we've had to completely flip everything on its side, brand new systems. Right. And just try to accommodate what people's needs are right now, because they still want to experience a lot of the things that they got to experience before, but they just have to do it in a different format. And if you're not the type of person that can switch gears really quickly, you start to lose. And it's just like the no, right? When you start to do that, you're telling yourself no. It's like you got the no's from all the people that you're reaching out to, you're trying to get that kind of support, but then you have the internal no. And like, man, I've had to talk myself off the ledge many times lately, but it's just like that insistence that like, you get the support from people, whether it's just a message, I get like an Instagram message and people are just like, oh man, thank you so much for like just continuing, like you're putting yourselves in harm's way. We get it. But like, this means so much. And then I'm like, okay, I will keep going.
And you need some of those doubters. You need
Absolutely.
some of the doubters because they just fuel you, because you want to turn around. At least, the way my brain works is like, I'm gonna go crush this. There was at one point, we had this one show on QVC, our fourth show in, it didn't perform as well as they wanted because they go by, sales per minute. And it's like, either
talk about pressure.
Sales per minute. True story. The first time I go to QVC after the training, and it's like our first day, and I'm like, I'm here to be famous, just kind of half jokingly, just when I go like who is this kid? I'm here to be famous. And the guy just totally puts me in check, the security guy, checking my ID. He's like, no, you're here to make us money. And I was like, okay, point taken, And then when
you're to pay my salary.
And then when I talk to my broker, I'm like, well, how do I know I'm going to be on, again, she's like, Andrew, it's all about the dollars per minute. Either you sell or you don't. And that fourth show, because it's half you and it's half the host, right? And it's like, and they don't want you selling, want the host to sell. And the fourth show, for whatever reason, just didn't sell so well, right? As expected. And so there was a point where they were like, they weren't going to take us back on. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? Like, come on. We crushed it on the first 3 shows and there's one off show. And I got so motivated to go kill it that they're like, all right, Andrew, we'll put you on again. We'll put you on QVC 2, which is like, okay, the junior league, right? Whatever, fine. I'll take it. Give it to me. Let's go. So they give it to me. And then we crushed it by 4 times our target, Right after that, we go on. They said, all right, Andrew, you're going on with David. David Venable is the guy. If you're in food and you're on QVC, or even if you're on QVC and you're in food, and everyone and their grandma is going to be like, are you on with David? Are you on with David? Like, David's the guy. And I'm like, who the hell is David? Turns out David is the guy. He is legend. So when we went on with David and I sold 20,000 jars in 8 minutes. So kind of turning that motivation of like, almost like we don't think we're going to take Otamot on anymore, to like get back and smash it. Just, you got to just keep staying motivated. So I need a little bit of that doubt, from others, because I'll never doubt myself. I might like get a little nervous. I might get like, okay, I got to switch up the game plan here, and not be overly confident, because you can't like be like, oh, I'm always, you're not, everything's not going to be a grand slam, right? And you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable in a lot of situations. And there's a lot of unknowns, especially now. But you need some of those haters. That's the other part of you need the internal do the right thing motivation. It has to stem from something that drives you. But the other part that drives me, honestly, is like just going back to those people that are like, what are you doing? Sauce? Yeah. Like, you're not even Italian.
Yeah. No, the adversity is a huge thing. I mean, I've read psychological studies where they said that people actually learn more in adverse situations because your awareness is heightened. The need for it, like they say, necessity is the mother of all invention. You're just like, your back is against the wall. That's when you really take it on and have those aha moments where when things are good, you're just like, oh, you're coasting. You might make some good decisions. You might hit a grand slam or two, but you don't need it the same way. And I feel it right now. And part of what is exciting for me right now in the midst of all this is that there's just tons of adversity. And I feel like my awareness has just, it's gone way up, certainly physically, you're like, sneeze, bro, what, did you cough? But just like dodging people on the street, but just the awareness in general and the intimacy, the increased intimacy it gave me with the relationship with my businesses and just with business in general. I'm really grateful for that. And I feel like whoever lays into that right now, because certainly we are going to see a lot of places disappear in the next few months. A lot of places just will not come back. I feel like the people that are tapping into that adversity right now are the people that will really weather this well. I hope.
I mean, the CPMs, I mean, for us, I mean, I got this annoying email from one of our investors the other day, right? and he's like, forwards me something from one of the big VC firms. And it's like, basically hunker down, don't spend cash, you know? And I'm like, and I basically threw it in the trash, the trash. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, we have so much opportunity right now.
Yeah.
You can be the kind that's going to cower and get nervous and say, no one's ever going to buy your stuff and whatever. Or you can be like, you know what? This is actually our chance to get slotting for free. Yes. This is our chance to like actually get on a phone call with someone who would never take my phone call before. This is a chance to really push, right? And of course, you need cash to make things happen and those kind of things. But our space, there's never been a time to stand forward and to be more proactive than now, right? If you're not proactive today with what's happening, I'm not saying being like in a bad way, right?
Yeah, not the sleazy sales pitches I've been getting lately.
When you get those, you're just like delete. But no, I'm gonna take these calls. I'm gonna push. Because I know that I'm doing the right thing. I know that what we're selling is good for people, right? And I love it and I believe it. If I didn't believe in it, I couldn't sell it, right? And so like, and if it was some like candy, different story. You know what I mean? Like. But yeah, so you gotta. It's a different time for different people. But now is definitely there's such opportunity out there. I think for really anyone, it's not just limited to food. There's so much opportunity, even in our recruiting space. Like, sure, certain accounts are they don't need to recruit as much, but hospitals need a lot of help. And so for us, we are talking to hospitals. We are talking to those type of networks that need help recruiting, to the grocery stores that need help recruiting. And you just do it in an empathetic type of way. That's it, and it's like, and what are we doing now? Like when we write to press, like, of course we need press, but like, what's the right empathetic way to do some PR right now? Well, you reach out to them and say, hey, I know you're stuck at your house and, could I send you a care package, not just with sauce? No, we're going to put some pasta in there too, because it might be a pain in the ass for them to go get pasta. So yes, we're like, and
can't buy pasta right now.
Yeah. So yes, we're paying a little more. We're finding it, scouring all kinds. I just had some lentil cauliflower pasta yesterday.
I'm so blessed and spoiled because we still make fresh. I did a post yesterday for Della, and it like the guys are just making the fresh pasta every day, and I'm like, I still get my pasta.
As long as you got flour, you're good to go.
Man, flour and eggs, we making it happen.
Yeah. So it's like you got to do it in a thoughtful way. And we also say to press people, like, look, if you're good and you don't need it, do you have a friend or a parent or a sibling or whatever? And like, honestly, that's just, that goes a long way, because that's just like, if they don't write about me, they don't write about me. But like the fact that like, we can make that gesture and we're doing the right thing. Then one day when we come around and they see us again, they're like, oh, those guys were cool. Like they made a real gesture. So that's, just try to be real. Just try to do it. Right.
And it's you're absolutely right. And it's a long wick, man. It's a long, slow burn. It's not the QVC dollar per minute. That's crazy. I didn't know that was that pressure. Did they tell you in the middle of the show? They were like, "You're not hitting it, kid. You're gonna."
Well, no, not on that show. But I tell you what, the next show where it's do or die. These shows are supposed to be 7 to 8 minutes on average, right? And it's like, all right, we're doing it. And you can find all these on YouTube. And, they always, you Google Otamot in the videos. This one's
I'm going to watch them.
Yeah. So there's one, it's like 14 minutes. And so like, but after 7 minutes, I'm like, wait a minute, this is starting to feel weird. Like it's supposed to be over. I'm supposed to hear the music in my ear. Right. Yeah. And then all of a sudden another host comes on and another one, they're having like a pizza party. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? I'm like, I'm rolling with it. I'm like, let's go. And they're like, oh, we're almost sold out. And it turns out like, the show is going so well that they extend the time in real time. To keep you going. So it's like, it was fun. Of course, I'm like on cloud 9 leaving afterwards. I got my 2-hour drive back to Brooklyn, and I'm like blast the music, calling friends. Trying not to text and drive because that's not cool. But you're just like, it's cool. But the show before that, I was like sad. I was like,
you were hearing the music in like 5.5 minutes. You're like, that's a little early.
Right. And they can't do that. They can't do that. So, it's just, you just got to roll with it and always look at the positive and take any challenge as like, any downside is like a challenge. Like, okay, what did I do? What, and just try not to blame the other people. I can say, the host sucked, but then I'm like looking at that show and watching it again and again. Could I stirred it less? Could I, brought out a pizza and done this or something, because there's always something that you can do, to affect the situation. Maybe not all the way, but you can always change your personality, your mentality, the way you see things for the better, right? Yeah. And so, that's what I'm trying to do right now, and have fun. You got to have some fun with this stuff.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take another short break. We'll be back in just a few. All right. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web, everyone.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
Do you love or are you intrigued about New York City and its neighborhoods? I'm Jeff Goodman, host of Rediscovering New York, a weekly show that showcases New York's history and its extraordinary neighborhoods. Every Tuesday live at 7 p.m., we focus on a particular neighborhood and explore its history, its vibe, its feel, and its energy. Tune in live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on talkradio.nyc.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back once again. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox, with my guest, CEO of Otamot Foods, Andrew Suzuka. Andrew, you with me?
I'm with you. Yep, here I am.
Did I read that you're from Brooklyn originally?
From Westchester County, so it's been actually Putnam to be technical.
Yeah, and how long have you been in Brooklyn for?
Probably 20 years.
Yeah, cool.
Bit in this neighborhood too.
Yeah, no. So we've been here for 15. I know it's the kind of place where you just don't leave, right?
No, you got the playground, you got Della, you got everything you need. You got the juice box, good to go.
It looked quite different 15, 20 years ago.
Oh yeah. Now they cleaned up the park, they cleaned up the playground and everything, and it's I got nice spots popping open.
And there were far fewer businesses. I mentioned this earlier, and it's definitely a concern of mine because I've seen so many places, temporarily shut down, especially, establishments like retail, and which you're getting a good insight into right now with your placements, but service as well. A lot of these places, it's going to be quite difficult for them to open the doors back up, because my guess, based off of my experience, I've lost businesses before. I've temporarily closed businesses. They're still temporarily closed. And it's tough because your bank account goes to zero real quick. You just paying your staff and the few people you don't, that would actually successfully sue you, if they did. Right. You try to take care of them, and then you got nothing left. And then to open back up, it's
well, then you got the backlog of rent or leases, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't pay. You just thought you couldn't pay because it's cash business. And then it's unless those are forgiven, which, it'll be interesting. I mean, it's, there's a lot of great places out there. And it's a little bit of Darwin in a way too, right? So
absolutely, which is why my ass has been open every day, because I'm just right. You, man. I'm my confidence level is so high. I definitely need the adversity checks, But sometimes I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. Like
you're going to be on the Galapagos Island. You're like one of those, you know?
As soon as this went down, I was just like, if we close, that's it. Like there's no coming back. There's no coming back from the dead. Like if everything goes dark, that's just it. So my inspiration every day, and it's amazing because we've gotten traction every day. Of course, we're operating, at a huge, just a fraction of what we used to do, but it's enough, it's enough to keep doing it every day. And it gets me excited for the next day. And like every day I come in and I'm just like, the phone's not going to ring. And like 5 minutes later, ring. And I'm like, all right, folks, here we go. And
you'll be one of the, and then the ones that can weather it, right? It's like, they're going to get smashed as soon as like everything starts to come to reality. Then you're going to be on that flip side of like, right? Like
exactly. That's the part that I'm like, I'm afraid for right now. And then I'm afraid for that because I know what that looks like because it's happened before.
There's going to be an extreme. It's going to go from one side to another.
And quickly.
And very quickly, really quickly, especially when it's like, the Darwin thing of like only a few left. It's like, where are you going to go to eat? Where are you going to go to hang out? Where are you going to go to like just be normal and human again? Right.
And especially if you've been like, I've been, in everybody's face. I'm staying super active in terms of social media. I'm outside every day. I got the door, even when the weather's bad, I got the door open and I just like bundle up and I'm outside and I'm talking to people.
So they know that you're alive.
Yeah, that's it. And so I'm there's a slight concern that the business district's going to go back in time to where it was like 15, 20 years ago when there were very few places around, which is unfortunate. I spent a lot of time helping this area in particular grow to the point that it is. So I'm a little edgy about that. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you got your product in a number of different places, and what's the forecast for you? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of amazing brands that were even going to come out of their shell, come out of their hiding at like Expo West, and it completely sucks that they're not going to really see the light of day. Like companies that these retail stores, what they do is they'll do what there's called category reviews once a year, right? And so Whole Foods did their category review in October, I want to say, and that's your one chance of the year to have your product seen by those buyers, and they either take it or they don't, And if you miss that, right, you're out until 2022, right, or 2021, whatever it is. And I feel like a lot of places that missed, because of what's happening in the industry, in our industry, the food one, is that category reviews are being put on hold, right? Mm-hmm. Kroger's was put on hold. I just flew out and saw them in January. We had a really good meeting, and they were going to tell us in April what's happening. Then we got word a few weeks ago, all the reviews are on hold. Like they weren't going to change anything. And I'm like, all right. I mean, we saw the Whole Foods and other whatever stuff happening. But then we got the email this week that like, actually it's back on. But like, so I feel bad that there's a lot of, great brands and people really trying to make a difference, like being those Davids against the Goliaths that we're trying to be, that are just not going to get their moment, on the podium to like really be seen. Right. And I think the expo scene is going to change tremendously. Like, do I want to go to a show now and shake hands and soapbox with 10,000 people? Like, I used to love that. And I still love it in my head. I mean, it's like you get to go there. We go to this dietitian show, which is called Fincy, which is just crush. You get like 10,000 dietitians, like, and it's just like people that matter, that are helping people get healthier. They have some of the coolest and most important jobs in the world.
Right.
Like, what is that going to look like this year? Is Expo East going to happen? Like, I don't know. I'm a little bit like this, the whole thing's not going to go away. The flu doesn't go away, So it's like, I don't know. It's going to be weird. So I think overall what's going to happen, I mean, what's the impact on like these other brands? We're going to lose a lot of a lot of people with some huge potential, and the ones that can weather it, are going to be able to take on those junk brands that don't even care, and we're gonna just keep on, we're just gonna do our best to crush them.
Yeah, that's good. I basically feel the same way. I mean, it's unfortunate that this is going to claim a lot of really honest, hardworking people. That it's just inevitable. But I do think you're right that the people that are left over are going to have a certain level of resilience, especially if you have a solid brand, you have a product that is good for people. And there's a heightened awareness towards that now. And now that would be a good opportunity to go head to head with some of the, I don't know, what do we call
the big boys, the Goliaths, without naming the names, but
yeah, exactly. It's subpar food, man. It's just like you said, it's dead food. I say that all the time. You go into a grocery store and I'm like, it's a bunch of dead fake food. There's no nutrition in this. I can't
turn that label around. You turn ours around and you see and you're going to see 20% fiber. That's not, the other thing what's really interesting about food, and I mentioned this to some people, and I think it's something that many people don't realize. You can make a nutritional label for like $100, $200, right? You can even make it for free. You just plug your stuff into it. But I'm like, wait a minute, that's not but you cook it, it changes what's in there. It changes the ingredient, the vitamins and everything. So this label costs us $3,000 a SKU because we send this to the labs to get fully mass spec'd. Mm-hmm. What's the A, the B, the C, the fiber? So when we say we have 20% daily fiber, we have 20% daily fiber. There's no BS there, Yeah. And so I know that that's no nutritious stuff on the market, not just because I'm pretending or it's theoretical. No, we actually tested it. Then the crazy part is this was the extra motivation, right? This was like just another midnight nugget that that just a midnight fire or whatever, was we lab tested other stuff. People that said, we have, 20% vitamin C or 30% this. And not that they're taking that angle, but I would just grab sauces and we spent, what does it cost to test like a vitamin C? $60 or whatever, We would send that stuff in. And we'd say, instead of 25, it was 0.25. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, maybe we need some shelf space. Maybe I, should make a phone call, but it's like, it's like you just see, and that just pisses you off. At least it pissed me off to see this stuff that I thought I was grabbing that before I was on this side of the fence. I was on the other side. I was a pure consumer. I was never in the food manufacturing space, right? And as a pure consumer, I would take things at face value a little bit more. But now I'm like, you know what? And I'm in marketing too, but I would even still get tricked with the marketing. But you figure you turn a label around, you should be able to no, you don't have to. And so I've, whatever, made a little bit of ruckus about that, here and there on some panels or whatever, right to the FDA, why do you allow people? And they would kind of just dodge the question, really? Are we in politics now? So
that's exactly it. I mean, they're getting their pockets lined somehow to make that more accessible to a larger group of people that want to fill shelves, So I'm sure they're getting it somewhere on the back end. I have no doubt.
Yeah.
And it's just another, that was one of the reasons why I got into the food industry. I loved eating and I was turned on to good food at a young age, and it's creative, it's artistic. And the same thing. I love being around people. This is not being able to shake hands with people. And this is what I do. I stand on Prospect Avenue and I'm like, how you doing? It's fucking killing me right now, man. I can't fucking hug people and shit. It's a good thing that I got so many kids because I just I come home and I hug them and we do jujitsu at the house. So I'm getting my,
I saw you getting all your workouts in. Yeah.
And I'm trying to stick to my routine as much as possible because, the same thing we just said. It goes, personally as well, whoever can keep chipping away at it and doing this when the clouds part, those are the people that are going to be poised to make some moves. And that's how I feel about everything in life. I'm always trying to go after it. And, whether it's just a personal goal that really gives me no monetary benefit or something that's really great. So
you're able to keep people employed and that's a big part too. Not just you. It's like the people that depend on you to keep it going.
Exactly.
Right?
That's been one of my for keeping Della open, the main thing was definitely my staff. Most of my staff has been here since we opened almost 5 years ago. That's a phenomenal retention rate for a restaurant.
Huge.
And they're my family. We spend Thanksgiving together. We spend Christmas together. I don't go see my parents. It's all of us. We get together and we have a big meal. Sometimes I have family that comes in to spend it with them. And that's how I'm treating it. And my guys have been such an inspiration for me because there are definitely times where I'm like, man, I don't know about this. And I talk to them and I'm like, nah, man, we got this.
Yeah, right. As long as you're all in together, you got that crew. You just need that crew. That ride or die crew.
All right, we're going to take one more short break. We'll be back in just a few, guys. You're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
Okay, everybody, you're back once again. We're listening to the Entrepreneurial Web. I'm your host, Jeremiah Fox, with my guest, Andrew Suzuka, CEO. He's the sauce boss of Otamot, which is actually tomato spelled backwards, right?
It is. Yeah. Just I figured if someone's going to come up with a silly name, we went through like 100 names, and I
dealing with all the branding and stuff, right? And your connection to the marketing industry.
Overly, what does it mean? What are you trying to communicate? The whole like easels everywhere.
It's just fucking fun, man. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It reminds me of I worked for a guy, an Italian guy. His name is Tony Di Silvestro. He's from Jersey. And he got it started in the early 90s, which is when I started working for him as a team. And he's probably opened like 15 or so Italian restaurants up and down the East Coast. He's headquartered in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Virginia at this point. And his whole company is called Why Not Italian, and it's Tony backwards, Y-N-O-T Italian. So when I saw that, I was like, yo, Tony would love this shit. And he and I haven't worked for him in 20 years, but we're still really
send me
great
his address.
friends.
We'll get him a care pack out there.
Oh my God, man, he would love it. He would love it. He's a crusher too, man. He's all about it. He's just like, he started young and just went after it. And his energy, you remind me a lot of him. You guys have the same kind of relentless energy. Yeah. So why don't you talk about what are the big things that are happening with Otamot now? You've had some really great stuff come down the pipe lately. You're launching with Whole Foods. You've gone national at this point, right? You're about to send a lot of sauce out to people, right? You can make the gravy, right, for the macaroni?
Right. Yeah, I mean, we are regional to be technical. We're regional now, but in June we do go national with Whole Foods.
Yeah,
we're national with Unify, which is our key distributor. Right. Which means we go active in 20 distribution centers, and if someone in Key West wants our sauce, they can get it. If someone in La Jolla wants it, if someone in Seattle, Washington, meaning stores want it, they can get our sauce starting in May, June. Because once you go, the key thing with going national with Whole Foods and why it's a big deal, and it was really interesting because usually they'll test you regionally. They just took us nationally off the jump, and we launched last March. We really launched in September. That's when we switched to fully organic. All right. So it's like it's definitely still a mind trip. So when you go national with Whole Foods, it means you have to be in all the DCs around the United States, right? Through Unify, their distributor, which means you then that becomes your spider web into every store that wants you, right? So it becomes really interesting. So yeah, we have that going on. We're in some final talks with Amazon Prime right now, who took us into a special, food program incubator thing. So I'm psyched for that because we'll send single jars on Amazon Prime and 6-packs. So it'll be crush. We have Kroger's we're talking to. We just launched in Fresh Time Market. There are a lot of different things. We also have non-sauce products, meaning food products.
I was going to ask you about that too.
Yeah. We can't say too much about it. Maybe save that for the podcast. But
I just imagine you would have something else on the back burner.
This is the thing with Otamot is that we're not a tomato sauce company. On the surface, to most consumers, we are. But those stripes and the stripes that we're doing there, I mean, that's the brand. We're building a brand here. We're not building a tomato sauce company, right? And so that's the big play. I mean, people can go in and say, I want to make a cookie company. If you want to make a cookie company, you could be Tate's great. Go ahead. You'll sell for a few $100 million. But like, I'm building a brand that's really focused on improving the nutritional content of everyday foods. I'm building a brand that my family can live on, not monetarily. They can actually eat and live on.
Right.
And so as long as it's coming from that place, then you can do, there's so much you can do. I can look on the shelf and just be like, that sucks. Why isn't there another one of those? Or this sucks. Or why do I have to send my daughter with this every day? Like, really? And now, so that's big when it becomes really fun. Like and I'll definitely bring it over to you, give me like another few weeks. We're going to have round 2 of the prototypes of this stuff. I mean, crush food that's going to come out. And I'm excited for that. Like, I think what we're coming out after the sauce, like the next SKU, is going to crush a sauce. Yeah. Like the next, and it's not even sauce. And it needs to be redone. Just some things have to be redone. Something,
everybody's getting their chance right now.
So it's good.
Are you familiar with Simon Sinek?
No. What is that?
You should check him out. He's like a business personality. He does keynote speeches and the author. He did this really great TED Talk. It's got to be 10 years ago now, but a friend of mine sent it to me. I wasn't familiar with him, but just recently someone turned him on to me. And he talks about that, like identifying yourself as a business. And like he constantly is saying, know your why. Like that's what you're selling. You're not selling your product. Profit is not your motivation. It's like what's deeper. And he breaks it down in these 3 levels, and you just really like laid it out. You just said it. So it's interesting that you're not familiar with him. If you listen to him, you'd be like, I know exactly what you're talking about. But that's, and I say the same thing for me. Like you might look at me and be like, oh, that guy sells food. That guy sells beverage. That's just like the shirt. That's just the hood ornament. It's the experience. It's the connection. To the community, it goes much deeper than that. It's fascinating to realize that.
Yeah, and the I think the challenge that we're going to have next, right? Because there's always something new, and
there is,
right? It's like it becomes planning your inventory and making sure that you can always deliver. Like maybe Whole Foods is going to need like 3 times what we thought they were going to need.
Right.
And I need to be able to get those to them. I need to get that to them within a couple of weeks. But my factory also needs lead time, right?
Yeah.
So there's a what you sign up for with your distributors and how long it takes you to actually make it. When I put a purchase order in with my factory, it doesn't always line up. So it's like you have to. So what do you have to do? You have to stack the war chest. So you have to. So next week we have a giant run, the biggest of my life. And I'm already thinking through the marketing side of me. Well, how can I make this fun and cool? So there's a couple things where we'll take some drones, and we're literally making over like hundreds of pallets of sauce. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So like the endless miles and miles of sauce. It's nuts. So like doing some cool stuff, turning that into some content. We'll put a GoPro on actually one of the jars, so a little.
That's dope.
I'm like, why don't we I want to be a jar. What does it look like to go through the whole thing? And so it's like, all right, let's do it. So we're working on that right now. And like, you got to bring people into it, right? And then you got to, and that's the fun side of it. Then you have, of course, the business side of it, which is like your marketing, your influencer campaigns, your this, your that, your press, like everything takes time, takes money, takes thought. And you just want to make sure you're nailing it. And how do you measure it too? All these investments that we're about to make, like we're going hard with this national launch. And it's not like put you on the shelf and you win. No, putting you on the shelf is like, that's a given. You have to be on the shelf for it to be anywhere. People will buy it. But then it's like, why are they going to pick it out? They don't know. It's a funny looking jar. Like, I never saw that. Why am I going to spend $7, $6.99? Right. So it's like the marketing becomes so key because you can make great stuff, but if people don't know about it, if people don't know why you're different, if I don't have a chance to tell people my story one-on-one, which I don't, like it's like they're walking by. I don't know 9.99% of the people that buy it, then, and that's why QVC is really interesting, because you really get to tell your story for a few minutes and everything. But that's not, that's just the short-term play. The long-term play is the retail, is the Amazon, Prime. And it's like, how do you communicate and get people to really fall in love with your brand? And then when they do, then it's on, right? Then they're like, this is my new sauce. Where have you been my whole life? Kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm like, yes. I read like these comments and I'm like, holy crap. You know what's kind of funny? I still, on this phone, I will get calls like randomly, and I pick it up and I'm like, hey, it's Andrew. And they're like, oh, is this Otamot Foods? I'm like, oh yes. This, right. And it's like, I changed the number yesterday. It's like you went to GoDaddy and do this thing where you can have two phones and whatever. Yeah. I could see but before that, it was like, I don't know. Someone's like, I bought this on QVC and how do you use it? And I'm like, what do you mean? It's, I didn't say it like that, but in my head, I'm just like, like, what are you talking about?
It's gravy from macaroni.
But it's a lot of just figuring everything from like, how do you get a new business line without, but you still be accessible to your production, to your marketing, to what's your next SKU. Like I'm already on to the next one. You have to always be on to the next one. To compare your current one, So
which is hard right now. Cause it's just like, we've all been thrown up in the air and we're like floating. But there's some liberation to that. I'm trying to find the liberties in all of it. And that's where, that extra headspace I think it's going to come from.
Yeah. Just to have some fun, cause there's kind of no right or wrong. And it's like, and what's your thing, and you have people that believe in you, then you, and even if they don't, it doesn't matter. Like you just go out and you crush it. And
just do it.
Right.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, we got to wrap it up, man. Thank you so much. Your energy is such an inspiration. I hope those of you that are listening and watching.
That's on 2 hours. That's on 2 hours of sleep. So
I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked by you at all, man. We'll have to do this again. Hopefully I'll see you around the neighborhood. Good luck with everything, man.
Thanks,
everybody.
Jeremiah.
Have an awesome weekend. You're listening to Entrepreneurial Web. Peace.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
Do you run or are ready to open your own business? Hi, I'm Jeremiah Fox. I've been operating and opening small business for the last 25 years, and I'm the host of the new show, The Entrepreneurial Web. Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern Time for insights and stories on the nuances of running small business right here on Fridays at noon, talkradio.nyc.
I'm the aptly named host of Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Big nonprofit ideas for the other 95%. Fundraising, board relations, social media. My guests and I cover everything that small and mid-sized shops struggle with. If you have big dreams and a small budget, you have a home at Tony Martignetti Nonprofit Radio. Fridays 1 to 2 Eastern at talkingalternative.com.
Hey, all you crazy listeners. Looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Do you love or are you intrigued about New York City and its neighborhoods? I'm Jeff Goodman, host of Rediscovering New York, a weekly show that showcases New York's history and its extraordinary neighborhoods. Every Tuesday live at 7 p.m., we focus on a particular neighborhood and explore its history, its vibe, its feel, and its energy. Tune in live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.